Yeah, so the total estimate that we submitted to them and was approved was $30,000. Oh, it was excitement. I mean, it was the biggest deal we landed ever in the history of the company, from, commercial, residential, anything. And it was just, great to see the company growing and the team getting the work that they've worked so hard to, provide in service and communication, to get those rewards. Just getting us out in front of these folks and letting us be able to display our service and our abilities. Even if they haven't closed yet, they're going to be closing in the near future. And to have established a lead funnel on the commercial side is really where my biggest excitement comes from. Yeah, I mean, because of that, we're able to focus on equipment and branding. We're looking to buy some extra equipment. We're looking to wrap the truck to give us some more visibility and notoriety in the neighborhood. So you don't have a chance to work on those things when you're always constantly focused on lead flow. So that partnership with Lead Growth has been tremendous in all divisions of the company. So we really appreciate you guys, and we're really excited for the continued growth.
Ready, so let's get into it. Please introduce yourself, who you are, what's your company, and what do you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Marco. I'm the owner of California Pressure Washer. We are a locally owned and operated pressure washing service out of the Rancho Cucamonga area.
Okay, and how long have you been in business, Marco?
Yeah, so we started California Pressure Washer 3 years ago. We have slowly been growing it month in and month out. I was a lot more hands-on when it first started, but as we've grown each year, we've continued to systemize the process from both operational, marketing, as well as financial.
Perfect. And I know you do a ton of work on that too, on the system side. Something I really admire from you in the way you build your business. With that said, talking about systems, take me back to before we started working together. How were you landing new commercial accounts, and what did those systems look like?
Yeah, so to be frank with you, when I first started California Pressure Washer, it was my first time at entrepreneurship, first time ever owning a business, and had no clue on what to do. And that's where I kind of just started with, what everybody tells you, right? Make calls, go meet people in person, and just kind of the grind work of, as many touches as possible. And then, everything is a percentage rate. So we're doing a lot of cold calling. We're doing a lot of, email marketing, as far as social media, and taking some videos and clips of our work and posting it. But nothing from the commercial side was, I would say, systemized or consistent. It was more of, someone reached out and they happened to be a commercial opportunity, and we would respond to them and then give them that. But as far as generating leads on the commercial side, we didn't have any process or system for it. Strategically on the residential side. So again, that was, we had a client list that we had worked with in the past, and we just kept calling that list on, and then we would get referrals, and we would call those. We'd hit up family and friends, just one person at a time, even knocking on doors and passing out flyers in the neighborhood. We had a previous client list that we would call on, and we would, go through referrals, family and friends, and, even knocking on doors and passing out flyers in the neighborhood.
Was there a reason that you focused on the residential side and you had systems on the residential side, but not commercial? Was there anything specific about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we didn't feel like we were ready for commercial jobs. Those were a lot more larger jobs, and we didn't have the expertise or the knowledge of the work yet to be able to go and be customer facing and speak confidently towards our services. We don't want to overpromise and underdeliver any of our clients. So if there is a job that we get that we don't feel comfortable doing, or we can't guarantee our excellent service, then we will, respectfully communicate that to the client so they understand that. So it was simply not being ready for commercial job, or knowing how to even go about reaching out and communicating with potential commercial clients.
Okay. And what was the point that you decided, okay, we are ready to communicate and to provide that quality of work where we're not over promising, under delivering. But when did you make that switch to go into the commercial and really want to attack it more?
Yeah, absolutely. So through the residential side for the first 2 years, we saw tremendous growth and experience gained by our team. I mean, we practically doubled our revenue from year one to year two, just on residential. And that's, so everything up until 2 year mark, we were in that growth phase. The third year, which was last year, we really felt a lot more comfortable and saw a lot more profitability on the commercial jobs, the few commercial jobs that we had done through those first 2 years. So that really helped give us that confidence to say, okay, we need to go get more of those bigger jobs because one, they're a lot more profitable, and two, they're less time consuming. I mean, you're doing a larger space, you're more efficient at it, you can be more productive, and it's at a higher rate. So that was the confidence that we gained after those first 2 years of working a lot of small residential homes and gaining the experience as well as the confidence in the few commercial jobs we've done during that period to be able to go and say, okay, we're ready now to be communicating with those potential clients.
So then when you made that decision, you want to go communicate with these commercial clients, what were the things that you tried? Was it just, as you were saying before, just contacting that list? Was there anything else that you tried lead generation stuff beforehand?
Yeah, I mean, almost everything flopped. So I'll go through the few that we did. I mean, we did some contact list platform. There's a few of them that are out there that we used and signed up for and pulled data and did some email blasting. But we really realized that we don't have the skill set in marketing. This is not our forte. We don't have we don't even know where to start or who to talk to, who's the right, what are the titles, what are the jobs, what are the industries and companies. So we kind of wanted bigger jobs and commercial jobs, but we didn't know where to start or who to talk to. So we did a lot of, just data pulling of contact lists through online platforms. And we really just kind of, I would say that the really only thing we did was just email blasts to them. We used ClickFunnels. And again, ClickFunnels is effective and useful for someone who has that experience with marketing and has that ability to perform those proper messaging and proper contact list. But we didn't have that. So that tool became, ultimately obsolete to us because it was like, if someone has the tool to perform a task that they don't have the skill set or the experience in, it's like the tool doesn't matter if you don't know what to do with it, right? We realized really quickly that we're ineffective at generating lead commercial. That's when the search began.
And so that was that point when you realized internally from your own efforts, not having the marketing background, not knowing who to go to reach because you had small amount of commercial, you had some commercial jobs in the past, but a smaller amount. Is that the moment where you said, okay, I need to get a proper lead generation system in place?
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. We ultimately tried it ourselves, the do-it-yourself method, and then it didn't produce the results. So, this is where my entrepreneurship side kind of just constantly, okay, let's find a solution. Okay, if we can't do it, then who can do it? And that's where we started to engage both Lead Grove and other marketing firms in that process of tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you guys do? And figure out who would be the best fit for what we're trying to do.
When you first heard about Lead Grove, I know you found us from a way not most people do. How did you find us and what was your gut reaction? Were you skeptical? Were you excited? What was that kind of like?
The way we found you guys was ultimately just a regular Google search, right? It was on ChatGPT, but it was the initial phase of, okay, let's get all the marketing firms that go and do commercial lead generations. Let's get a long list of all the potential companies that can provide the service, and then let's filter through them, interview them, get pricing, go through the whole RFP process. And that's how we found you guys, right? After that, the process became, okay, what exactly are we looking for from that partner? Like, what are we looking for from them? And it became clear to me that a lot of these companies, and I'll get to the skeptical part because there was definitely some doubt on whether it would be effective or not. But a lot of these companies, what we noticed, are not tailored to our industry or service types. So what that means is it's a one size fits all. And while that may seem like a good approach for these companies to try to generate as many clients as possible, right? We can do it all for everyone all the time. It's not, it doesn't really screen out niche and experts and niche, right? So that's where we realize, okay, we really want someone that can focus in on home service. And that was the big differentiator for a large list of those potential partners. So we eliminated a lot of folks that kind of just said, we do it all, here's our method and we've done it for everybody. And it narrowed it down to a few folks that focused on home service. After that, we drilled down even closer to home service and became interested in, well, who has pressure washing experience, right? In marketing for pressure washing jobs. Because what we don't want to be is we don't want to be the trial period for someone, right? They don't have it figured out. They don't know really what works, how to communicate, how to talk to the potential clients that you're looking for. We wanted someone that can speak their language and that can represent us well. And that's where Lead Growth really stood out. And being a pressure washing commercial lead generation specific to that. I even asked you, like, do you guys do any residential? And you're like, no, we only focus on commercial. And I like that, because it really told me that your system was tailored to our specific company, not just a one size fits all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. When we got into conversation, was there anything that you were hesitant about while we were on our first call with Discovery and going through your business? Was there anything that you were hesitant about before pulling that trigger?
Yeah, so I had horrible experiences with a lot of marketing firms, and the most common denominator is they don't perform, but they charge you. And that was my biggest hesitancy, right? It's like, I'm committing to you, but you won't commit to me. And it really made me feel uneasy with most of these clients or potential partners, which was, we need you to pay XYZ for these amount of months, but we can't guarantee you any results. And it's like, well, then I can't guarantee to pay your invoices. Is that like, would you accept that from me? And the question is always, well, we don't know how. And that's when I started to realize that someone doesn't have the confidence in their product, in what they're performing, right? You can't, obviously, you can't guarantee 100% of what, amount of leads you're going to be able to give, but you should be able to stand behind your product and commit to its results, right? If I went over there and I'm washing a house and I tell them, oh, I can't guarantee that it'll be clean after. Like, that wouldn't do the job, right? It's like, what do you mean? You're here to wash the house. And, it's the same thing with lead generating firms. I'm looking for someone who can commit to generating leads, because how else would I know if I'm getting my ROI, right? My return on investment. So if I'm paying X amount of cost, if I'm paying X amount of dollars to generate one lead or 100 leads, right? Those are different. And what types of leads? Those all factor into the value that a marketing firm can give to you as a client. How many leads? What is the quality of those leads? Will they be qualified? You got to be able to commit to that. And you jumped right off the screen with that, because you basically, it was like, we guarantee it or your money's back. And I'm like, no, I haven't heard anybody say that. But you were confident in your product and what you can do. I even pressed you on, well, how many leads? And that's where it gets a little difficult, right? Because you can give a range, you can't really give an exact number of leads, but you gave a range, and that's exactly what we ended up hitting. And I was very thankful for that.
Amazing. Thank you. So from my understanding, just us putting, or I guess just in one sentence, I guess what actually made you say, okay, Noah, yes, let's move forward with this?
Yeah, I mean, you stood behind your product and you committed to your service, your results.
Awesome. Thank you. So I know, and you were talking to a little bit about when you were looking for a vendor or for a lead generation firm, you were looking for someone as a partner, maybe rather than a vendor, rather than, kind of a typical client relationship. How have you felt like the relationship itself has been? Do you feel like we've been a partner in your business? Talk to us a little bit just about the relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we talk about partners, in the new age of entrepreneurship, people are outsourcing a lot of things. I mean, this is just, it's obvious, right? And we don't have any marketing in-house. It's all outsourced. So we lean heavily on you guys to be able to generate a list, the messaging, the contact, nurturing the leads afterwards, just basically handing them to us warm and ready. And you guys have done great. Your response time is phenomenal. Your communication is clean, concise, straight to the point. Even when we had some struggles with the platforms we were using, you guys found a solution and you had workarounds instead of just simply throwing your hands up and saying, "Oh, this is what we do. We can't fix your problem." You took the initiative to find a solution to help us all the way through, nurturing the leads that we've contacted or reached out to but haven't closed on. You guys are, again, you're supporting that. You said, okay, we're going to follow up and nurture them for you. And that's huge because we don't have any marketing in-house. You guys are our marketing department, just outside, and that's really the partnership feel that we got from you, is that I don't want to manage a marketing firm. I want you to manage yourself, and I want you to be thinking with me on solution oriented rather than problem focused. Like, how do we come up with solutions to the challenges you're facing as a pressure washing service?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I love, just being focused in one area, is that although every single business is different, there's a lot of repeating patterns. So just as you said with the small feature on the systems, the kind of softwares that we use, identifying that, you and Christina both saying like, hey, there's this doesn't work for us. We now took that and we're using that solution for a few other of the companies that we serve as well.
Ooh.
So it's fantastic. And that's what we love about the partnership, just clear, open communication, is that we can always improve because of the relationship that we have back and forth. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here.
Awesome. All right, so let's talk about this recent job. Walk me through it. Where did the lead come from? How long did you work the lead, and just how did this unfold?
Yeah, so this lead came from Lead Grove. You guys did a phenomenal job reaching out with your messaging. They responded and they wanted a site visit. So with most commercial jobs, it's really hard to just give standard rates because you got to see the work. It's every job is intricate and has ins and outs. So we responded. This was about, oh man, we've been working this lead, I would say, since the beginning of the year. I would say 3-4 months ago. And we jumped on it. We went and we saw it, and it ended up being a cold storage facility that needs some interior cleaning. So again, we do commercial cleaning inside out. We can do it all, right? That's kind of our niche with being able to clean your facilities. So think of it as, your housekeeping, but on commercial buildings and residential, inside and out. So that lead came through about 3 or 4 months ago, and we jumped on it. We went on site and talked to the manager on duty and really found kind of what are they looking for and what is their biggest pain point. And it's a large facility, and they're basically looking to get the inside of the facility cleaned and be up to regulation from any dust, debris that may be building up in the inside walls and ceiling. So we looked at that opportunity and we basically offered them a solution and a quote. Now, what ended up happening is that it was more than just one facility. It ended up being 5 facilities, and each facility is, 10, 20, 30, 50,000 square feet. I mean, it's a total of 5 facilities, and each one is between 10 and 50,000 square feet. So it's quite some space. So the job ended up becoming a multi-facility opportunity. So one lead turned into ultimately, 5 jobs, and each job is huge. It's a week to 2 weeks worth of work for us. So it's massive from that perspective.
Fantastic. So happy that you got it. You did a fantastic job nurturing that lead, following up with them, going on site, being the preferred provider that you are, professional, and won the business as well. And are you currently working on all 5 of their locations?
Yeah, no. So to take it back a little bit, we initially, after we submitted the bid and we started following up, they kind of basically said like, hey, we're not going to make this decision until March. And then March came and we followed up again. They're like, oh, check with us in April. And then April came and we followed up again. And then finally, towards the end of April, we started to get some, glimpse of good news. Like, hey, we're looking like, you will be the chosen provider and that we're getting a PO from our corporate office. And we found out sometime in early May that we had won the bid. And then it became, okay, let's schedule now. So with that being said, we're doing one at a time and one scheduled within every month. So it's not all simultaneously, all 5 bids. They want it spread out. Our flexibility also helped so much because our ability to be able to say, yeah, we'll work, nights, days, weekends, whatever it is, because they're a facility that operates, you have to be understanding that you don't want to disturb their operation. Nobody wants to stop production to clean. So we were very flexible and open to say, hey, whatever you need, we're here to be of service. So they chose, nights. So that's when the shifts are all done and we can be in there cleaning at the end of every shift, starting at 10 p.m. till 4 a.m. And yeah, we are scheduled one facility each month for the next 5 months. And it takes anywhere from a week to 2 weeks to get the work done.
Wow. Okay.
And we currently just completed the first facility and all went well, thank God.
God, that's amazing. Okay. From the first facility to the last one that you'll clean of all 5, do you have them under contract? Do you have like a revenue amount for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the total estimate that we submitted to them and was approved was $30,000.
Perfect. That's amazing. Great job, Marco.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to Lead Grove and your team. You guys have done such a phenomenal job. And even on top of that, we're thinking that there's an opportunity with them to be contracted for future facilities. So there's an opportunity to get some more work with them too. I mean, they're huge. They're a huge company and they're looking for, a fair price and good service. And that's really what everybody's in the business for. So yeah, it's a huge step into the door of huge opportunities.
Absolutely. And that's honestly what we look for too. One of the reasons why I was super excited to work with you, because I knew just from your professionalism with Christina as well, you were going to be, if we brought you over leads and you do get the opportunity to have the foot in the door, 1, you would win them, 2, you would do a fantastic job, and 3, they would likely call you back and develop a partnership, which is absolutely what we look for on our side before deciding to engage in a partnership with someone too. So it's a testimony to you guys and how well you run your business.
Yeah, thank you so much.
When that deal closed, what was your gut reaction?
Oh, it was excitement. I mean, it was the biggest deal we landed ever in the history of the company, from commercial, residential, anything. And it was just great to see the company growing and the team getting the work that they've worked so hard to, provide in service and communication, to get those rewards. It was just, an overwhelming joy and excitement for the whole team and obviously for myself as well.
Incredible. I didn't know that was the largest job that I closed so far.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, this is, by far it's been, we've done a lot of smaller jobs and a lot of those, but that big of a job with one client, yeah, this is the biggest.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm so happy to hear. So happy to hear. Okay. Any other wins worth mentioning, whether they were other deals, meetings, partnerships, estimates, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, this is a numbers game. especially on the commercial side. So we knew going in that we needed to see an increase in lead flow on the commercial side. And before we would get 2 or 3 or even 4 a month. And that was like, a lot, but obviously, you're closing on those rarely. But with the volume that you guys are bringing us, I mean, we've gotten, I would say, probably over 40 leads, commercial leads from you guys right now, and in a span of 4 months or so. And we continue to close and continue to nurture, as you are aware, right? You can't really measure your close rate yet because certain leads are still being nurtured. But yeah, we've closed on smaller jobs. A lot of facilities that we're getting on the smaller side. We're getting a lot of restaurants and boutique stores. Just getting us out in front of these folks and letting us be able to display our service and our abilities. Even if they haven't closed yet, they're going to be closing in the near future. And to have established a lead funnel on the commercial side is really where my biggest excitement comes from. Now I can stop worrying about generating leads and focus on closing.
Amazing. That's the exact seat that you need to be in, as well as the business owner. I know Christina does a fantastic job. I've been watching Christina as Marco's wife. She does a fantastic job on nurturing the leads, responding back as soon as possible. I see within 5 minutes, usually she's on it. But to get you guys out of the seat of just business development, rather now sitting in the spot of closing, is exactly where you should be.
Yeah, I mean, because of that, we're able to focus on equipment and branding. We're looking to buy some extra equipment. We're looking to wrap the truck to give us some more visibility and notoriety in the neighborhood. So you don't have a chance to work on those things when you're always constantly focused on lead flow. So that partnership with lead growth has been tremendous in all divisions of the company. So we really appreciate you guys, and we're really excited for the continued growth.
Amazing. Thank you. And if you had a rough ROI to put on working with us, do you have an idea of what that looks like?
Yeah, I mean, like 6 to 1.
6 to 1.
Yeah, return to investment. So for every dollar, we're getting 6 back that we've invested with you guys.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And it's just the beginning.
Just the beginning. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we're looking forward to the long haul on this, Marco.
Absolutely.
Amazing. So last few questions I have for you today, my friend. If another blue collar business owner, home service, commercial service, came up to you tomorrow asking about lead growth, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I would absolutely recommend it to them if they're ready. They're going to flood you with leads. So if you're ready to do the job and you have the experience doing the job, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to burn any bridges or get a bad reputation in your local areas. So if you are ready from a functionality and structure of handling the leads, someone to communicate with them timely, someone to go see them right away, someone to give estimates professionally and quickly, and then be able to actually execute on the job, absolutely go for it. And even if you're not ready, this should be in your back pocket as you're focusing on structuring your company. So that way, as soon as you get the experience and the structure in responding to the leads timely and professionally, you'll be able to just pull that card out and the leads will flow right away.
100%. Okay, you mentioned some important stuff in there too. So being ready for the leads, being ready for that style of work, having some past experience. With that said, who do you feel like lead growth is not a fit for?
Yeah, so the technician operated business is the most commonly overworked and overstressed and overwhelmed and unprofitable business in all the country. It's technician operated. So if you're the guy washing the homes or the buildings and answering the calls and responding to emails, this is not for you yet. You need to first develop a team that can do the work outside, or a team that can do the work inside, whether it's taking calls or making calls. So if you're a one-man shop, this is not for you. This is going to overwhelm you. And even if you end up still landing a few, you might think, something's better than nothing. I think the missed opportunities will be to your disadvantage in the long run, rather than your short-term advantages. So I would get ready from a team development and structure of the business before going out and opening up the floodgates. If you're already overwhelmed and doing everything yourself, this is just gonna, this is a solution that you can't really use.
I think you put it perfectly. I really do. That is, sometimes it's our truth where you have to realize that, okay, this is a business I've been running. I'm fantastic at working. I can get all this stuff done. I can do everything. I can do the books. At some point in time, I've also ran this business that way starting 3 years ago, and it was a nightmare. That's where, you feel the added pressure, the stress of life, of business, of everything. It weighs down on you. So sometimes it's best to take a step back, see where you can organizationally structure out your business, set some systems in place, or maybe take that step and make the hire that feels a little scary. Maybe take some of those first steps, for then you can have some sort of a base. You can get some of the commercial work in, and then start turning on this funnel that can bring you quality work, that you can start building relationships with property managers, facility managers, and just businesses in your area.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, you said it perfect. Being an entrepreneur and being a business owner, it's not about keeping everything to yourself and doing everything, yourself. You're handicapping your potential and growth. And being in business, again, is being in service. You're serving others. So if you just want to keep everything to yourself, you're not going to grow, because your service is limited. You're not serving anybody but yourself. So building a team, even though they're not clients, they're employees, that is the service that you're providing as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a leader in your community, is to be able to develop and share and grow with other people around you, instead of just keeping it all to yourself.
Absolutely. Perfect. Put perfectly. You're a master of words, Marco.
Thank you.
Awesome. And just the last thing, this may feel cheesy as well, but what I like to finish this with is this sentence of fill in the blanks. So before Lead Grove, we were blank, and now we am blank.
Sure. Yeah. Before Lead Grove, we were not a real business, and then after Lead Grove, we are official and growing every single day.
That's powerful. Amazing. Thank you, Marco.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I truly, truly appreciate the partnership that we've made together. I know we've had long talks on our client check-in calls, and I really admire the man that you are, how you run your business, and a lot of things that I've learned from you, I've picked up, brought into my business and my own personal life too. So I truly, truly appreciate you. I appreciate the partnership we've had, and I'm absolutely looking forward to working together for the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. The feeling is mutual, Noe. And like I said, I'm inspired by the next generation. I'm inspired by all of you guys that are out there building businesses. And I look forward to partnering up with everyone who's dedicated and motivated to grow every single day and get better.
Amazing, man. Well, thank you so much.